bookish friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a TBR for you guys because I haven't done one in a really long time. I don't know when I think I did one in June or July, but I really didn't stick to that TBR at all because I had a really big reading slump because I was working so much over the summer that there just really wasn't time for me to read, and I kind of did some of that to myself, like burning myself out. So for the month of September and October, because this is going to be kind of more of a fall TBR than just September, I'm showing you guys what I'm reading. I'm making time to read and figuring out a system that works for me so I can get through some of my books. Because I am still pretty far away from my reading goal, and I want to get back to some of the books that I DNF'd earlier this year that I wanted to try again. Like I said, I would read at a different time, but I want to get through this stuff first. So to do that, I have to read them. So let's talk about, I have like 3 or 4 categories of books here. First off are ones that I need to finish. So those are, I have The Dark Vault by Victoria Schwab. This is actually 2 books in one. This is The Archive and The Unbound. I'm listening to both on Hoopla. And I'm reading this one because I think it's a little bit younger than what I like to read. So I think I'm going to unhaul it once I've read it, unless it turns out to be really, really, really good. I didn't like Victoria Schwab's. It's under V.E. Schwab, but it's the same author. I like the I LaRue was okay. And this one is also okay right now, but this is definitely for younger readers. So I think I will probably post this on Pango when I'm done. Next book I need to finish is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm really trying to finish up series, and I really love Blood and Ash. This is the 3rd book, so this is like the main storyline. Now there's The War of Two Queens as well, but that is a prequel. So I'll have to get that, but I want to finish the main story, and I'm about 158 pages in, so I still have quite a bit to go because this is a big chunky book, but right now it's just really slow pace and I'm having trouble getting into it, but that's been the case with all of these books except Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. So I'm hoping to get through this and I'll still like the series. So the next stack is finishing or catching up on series that I have already started. So that includes This Coven Won't Break, which is from the These Witches Don't Burn series. This is the 2nd book, and there's supposed to be a 3rd book coming out, but I think we've missed the release date like 3 or 4 times now, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I did reread These Witches Don't Burn this year, and I didn't enjoy it as much as the first time. So I'm hoping that this book is a little bit more engaging and a little less whiny and complainy than the first book, because if it's not, these are going up for sale. But they're going after a blood witch in this. There's all different kinds of elemental magic, and there's a blood witch who is coming after the girls for something that they did, or they got accidentally involved in, and now they're in danger. So I'm interested to see where this goes. There's a lot going on in this book with relationships and stuff, but again, I think it might just be a little bit young for me. And that's saying a lot because I really love YA. It's just sometimes I think people confuse the age of the character for the intended audience. So these are high schoolers, but they act younger than high schoolers. So yeah, we'll see if I like it. If not, on Topanga it goes and someone else can enjoy it. This one is a comic. This is Wonder Woman Odyssey Volume 2, and this actually completes this comic series. It's a very limited run. This one, Wonder Woman has no recollection of who she is, and she has to try and figure out why people are after her. Like in the first one, the CIA is after her, and now she's basically going back home to Themyscira and figuring out why she was lied to, why she was sent away, and why, you know, she's here in our world, and what her purpose is. So it's a really different take, and it's a little bit darker, a little more gritty, but I really like this version of Wonder Woman. So can't wait to read that. Then we have a book that I was really excited to get, and then it kind of got lost in the shuffle of new books and everything, and that is Actor Age Eve Brown. This is the final book in the Brown Sisters series. Eve Brown has, I don't remember if she has ADHD in the book, or maybe that's something they figure out, but basically Eve jumps from project to project to project without ever finishing them, and her family is done investing in her businesses and her projects, and they say that they are going to cut her off if she doesn't figure out what she wants to do with her life and kind of settle down. And she ends up meeting this boy, and I believe he has autism, and basically it's a Grumpy Sunshine type story. But, you know, I love the Brown Sisters trilogy, so I'm very excited to finish it off. Next, I have Well Matched by Jen Deluca. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this. I know a lot of people read Well Met and Well Played, but I haven't seen people reading this third one, and it's been out for some time. This is about April and Mitch, so the guy who wears the kilt and does the Highland Games type stuff at the Renaissance Fair, and the sister of, I can't think of her name, I think it's Abby, the main sister from the first book. These two kind of had some bantering going on in the last book, so it's very much set up for an enemies to lovers type thing, which is really exciting because I think he's a really funny kind of himbo character. Like, he's just big and a little bit kind of goofy, doesn't take things real seriously, and she's a single mom with a teenage daughter. She's, like, you know, pretty well established, so I think it'll be interesting to see how these two end up getting together and end up, you know, like, falling apart and getting back together eventually. Next, we have Pandora Gets Vain. I know this was on another TBR, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, and it's still the Pandora'S Box series, and she is going after vanity, which is one of the sins that is in the box. But yeah, I just haven't gotten to this, and I don't know why. It is a middle grade. I have most of the series, and I really want to finish it, so I'm going to try and get through that one. Then we have Majesty, which is the next book in the American Royal series. There's one more, which is Rivals. That's the third and I think final book. But this one, the king has died, and it is time for America to have a queen, and she is going to be running things. Now, in the last one, if you didn't know, it's a bodyguard romance. She's not supposed to be with him. She's supposed to be set up with a prince, but then the prince that she's set up with, her sister's actually in love with and has, like, a bit of an affair with. So this one, will she betray her sister and end up marrying this guy? What's going on with her little brother, who kind of knows he'll never be king and is just doing whatever he wants? It's very interesting. It's a very different twist on the royalty tropes that we know. So I'm excited to read this, and I think I might do this one on audio because I did the first one on audio, but we'll see. Next, I have The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the next one in the kind of Truly Devious universe. The Truly Devious series is one mystery. This is another mystery, but the same cast of characters. And I think basically it takes the dark academia or the boarding school element out of it. And now Stevie is kind of like a freelance private detective. So I think it's a very interesting take on it. They're going to be at a camp where there was a murder in 1978 for this one. So I think the murderer is still at large, and they're basically just trying to solve this cold case, which is a really cool story. I like the way that they do these and the different clues and tricks and stuff like that. I'm interested to see how that works without the Ellingham Academy being involved. And finally, for sequels that I want to get to between September and October, Daughter of the Siren Queen. The Daughter of the Pirate King is one of my favorite books of the year already, so I'm very interested to see where the series goes and what's going to happen now that she knows the truth about her dad and her mom. A stack are standalones or just books that I very well may unhaul. and I want to read them and see if I even want to keep them on my shelf, and if not, just kind of get rid of them, do kind of an end of the year declutter of everything so that I can make room for new releases, because there's a lot of series that I really enjoy that have new releases coming out and are kind of finishing up, and I need to make room for them on my shelves. So first one I just want to read because it looks intriguing and interesting to me right now, and it's not very long, is In Deeper Waters. I just picked this one up. I just hauled it. It's about a prince who is going out on his world tour before he has to come back and basically assume his duties as a royal. And they end up finding a stowaway on a ship, and they take him in and kind of just have him work on the ship, but then he jumps overboard and disappears, and they find each other again later on down the road. But then there's a lot that ends up happening. There's a magical element in here, and they basically are each other's only hope for survival with all of these different pirates that they encounter. So it's a male-male romance. It looks really good, really cute, and the cover is absolutely adorable. So we have It Happened One Summer by Miss Tessa Bailey. I am so behind on Tessa Bailey. She is pumping out books like no other. I know some have been better than others, but this is supposed to be one of her best books. It's like Schitt's Creek. We have a grumpy sunshine. We have the fisherman in the seaside town and the spoiled rich girl who has lost all her money, and I just want to see their romance because everybody says that he is a great love interest, so I'm very interested in that. And you know, it's Tessa Bailey. She writes a great romance. But I gave in to the TikTok hype and picked up this book. Also, Olivia Reads a Latte has been reading this one, and I'll read just about anything she picks up, and that is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is a take on Disney World, kind of. It is a place called Dreamland. So it's the Dreamland Billionaires series. There's brothers, and this one is about Rowan and Zara. So she works for the company and he inherits it, but he's not very magical, and he kind of starts changing things and people are really unhappy, where Zara is like one of the best employees. She's really dedicated to the company. She wants it to be the happiest place on earth, all of that good stuff. So they start I believe, fake dating situation, so that they can kind of make the park what it's supposed to be. And I also don't think he fully inherits everything until he gets married. So they're going to work together to make the park better, fix stuff that people don't like, and also, you know, keep control of the park so someone else doesn't buy it. Next, we have one of my book of the month picks that just sounded like a really good thriller romance situation, and this is When We Were Bright and Beautiful. Now, I do have to look because I don't quite remember. Her brother is arrested for SA, and she doesn't believe that he did it. So now she is trying to, basically, I think she 100% knows he didn't do it, but his girlfriend is telling people that he did, and they're trying to figure out why she is trying to spin this narrative that he did do this to her, or she has to figure out, did her brother lie to her and he did do it? Like, what is the situation? So I think it's gonna be interesting. This is what it sounds iffy the way I described it, but we're gonna give it a try. I think it's basically taking a different look at like the Brock Turner situation. I'm not sure. Next is one that I'm not sure I will like, just based on what people have said and based on my previous experience with this author, and that is Jasmine Gilroy and Royal Holiday. Now, this one I don't think has anything to do with the wedding date, party of two, wedding party, and proposal series, but I could be wrong. So this is about Malcolm and Vivian. They are an older couple. I think they're in their 40s. And they are both trying to figure out their lives. Malcolm works for the Royals as kind of a personal assistant. And Vivian, I think, just figured out that she doesn't want to do what she's been doing with her life anymore. So she goes with her daughter to the Royal Palace because her daughter is going to be working there for a bit of time, and they have to figure out how long distance will work and if they love each other and all that good stuff. We'll see how I feel about this one. I didn't like Jasmine Gilroy's writing in The Proposal. So if I don't like this one, Topanga, it goes. That is the same thing with How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. I really liked Things You Save in a Fire. This one is kind of similar. A woman is in a plane crash and becomes, I believe, completely paralyzed from the waist down. And she ends up getting into a relationship with her physical therapist as they try and get her to the point that she can walk again. Some people have said it's a little bit too, like, inspiration porny, like, you know, being like, you can overcome anything no matter what, and da-da-da. And sometimes that's just not true. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's things I can't do because of my heart condition that I've just had to accept. And that's okay. Like, we don't have to overcome everything if you're chronically ill or disabled or differently abled and all of that. So, yeah, that being said, I'm interested to see how I react to this. But yeah, we'll see if I like it or not. So these last 4 were on previous TBRs, and I just didn't get to them. So there's nothing wrong with these books. I haven't even touched them. It's just they were on the bottom of the TBR pile and never got read. So first off, we have the X-Hex. It is spooky season, so I want to read this little Richie romance. Everyone says that's really cute. It's really good. I just didn't get to it, and I want to give it a shot. It's very small town, Hallmarky type vibes, so I will be trying to get to that. And then a complete shift, we have A Tyranny of Petticoats. So the next one is A Tyranny of Petticoats. This is an anthology of 15 different stories of girls across America. It is historical fiction, but this covers pirates all the way through the 1960s, I think. So that's kind of our time frame there. So 17 to 1800s all the way up to the 1960s. And there is actually a second book, and I have it. But I didn't get through this yet. I haven't read it. The nice part about anthologies is I can kind of start reading this now, read one story, stop, go to a different book if I'm not feeling historical fiction, since, you know, each anthology is separate from one another. Now, they may be connected in some way, but not enough that I would have to read through this all in like one session or, you know, all at once. Last 2 here, we have My Eyes Are Up Here, which is a contemporary about a girl who is very well developed in the chest area, and that's all people see her for. They sexualize her very young, and it's just about dealing with that and trying to decipher if people find you attractive because you have a big chest or because they really like you. And finally, we have Funny You Should Ask, which again, this is the one that's based off of Chris Evans' novel. Everyone is interview. Everyone is talking about this. Everybody wants to read this. Everyone is suggesting it. Mel Reed said it's great. I haven't gotten to it yet. So that's it. That's the last book in this ambitious TBR, but it's over the course of 2 months. I think if I complete these 2, it will put me on a good path for getting through the rest of them. So let me know what you guys are reading this fall, and I will see you guys in the next one, and be on the lookout for some reading vlogs. I'm going to try and do some 24-hour reading vlogs. I'm definitely going to do one in October, the week of my birthday. We're going to be traveling, so there will be some reading time there for sure. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.